For us as Jet fans, they return home to MetLife Stadium. They build up a big lead. Aaron Rodgers throws a brutal pick six. We watch the offense not score in the second half. We watch the defense commit a bunch of dumb turnovers, and the New York Jets lose. What else is new? As we talk about this brutal loss, we welcome in one of the great Jet fans of all time. He joins us every Monday after a Jet game. The Joe Benigno Football Monday Call-In is brought to you by Empire City Casino. Winners play here. The Jets are never one of those. By Approved Oil. Lock in your low oil rate at freezetherate.com. And by HL Gross Jewelers of Garden City. What a disaster this franchise is. How are you, Joe?
Oh, my God. Well, let me just say this. First, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
So yesterday's loss was so bad. I mean, we have seen so many brutal losses over the years, and this season has been just one hideous loss after another. Mm-hmm. This loss was so bad yesterday that I actually got COVID from it. And I am blaming – no, I'm serious. I'm blaming the Jets because I was weak after this game. I mean, any other team in the NFL, any decent team, mediocre, the Carolina Panthers would have won this game yesterday with the way the Seattle Seahawks basically said, here, take the game. It's all yours. Just take this game. 2 turnovers on the kicking game. A guy I never heard of who I guess was a Pro Bowler going 100 yards for a touchdown. I couldn't believe it. They even have that 8 or 9 play stop on punter. Do you think maybe you should know that the reason the offense is on the field on a 4th and 6 on their own 33-yard line is because they don't have a punter?
Amazing.
And this guy Gibson is back there, and it's 12 men on the field? What?
Yeah, that's Gibson's fault, by the way. Gibson's got to count. Because I've returned punts for a long time, Joe. The first thing you do before you walk on that field is start counting. And if there's 11 in front of you, you get off the field.
Right.
Yeah, but when you see that there's no punter, shouldn't you get off the field?
The coach should know that, Teague. Yeah. Shouldn't the coach know that?
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, the rote thing you do as a punt returner is count. And if there are 11 guys in front of you, you get your ass off the field. Because you can't go communicate, hey, D tackle, get off the field.
Right.
You get off the field and just let it be downed.
Right. Only our team, by the way, could get burned when the punter on the other team is hurt. I mean, I mean, you can't make it up. You really can't.
What's unbelievable, and how you feeling, by the way? You feeling all right after getting this COVID?
I mean, how do I feel? I mean, I don't feel great. I went to the doctor today. He gave me, he shot me up a little bit.
Nice.
I got medication. I mean, I'm not dying, but
What they diagnosed you as? Jet-induced.
No, there's no question. I completely blame my football team for this.
No,
I was doing good, Tico, and you knew as soon as Leonard Williams returned that interception for a touchdown, you knew they were losing. Yeah. I mean, you just knew they're going to lose this game. There's no doubt in my mind. But then this idiot Solomon Thomas, the guy is stopped. I mean, he just get away from the play, and it would have been stopped.
Think about that one drive that you talked about. You have a 12 men on the field that turns a 4th and 6
to a fourth and
1.
Right, and then a pass interference.
Right, you get off the field on the 4th and 1. But wait a second, there's a pass interference. You make this great stop on 4th and 1 against the line, Charbonnet, and then here's Solomon Thomas with a horse collar. I mean, then they committed a neutral zone infraction. That
was McDonald. That was McDonald. Yeah.
All of this on one drive, so you can change the head coach, but like you said, they don't even have a head coach.
Right.
The penalties are still mind-numbing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. And how about Breece Hall? He fumbled twice in this game. He got saved in the first one by Vera Tucker. You can't be fumbling there. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, there's so many things in this game, And look, I don't want to defend Rodgers, but it's a lot more than Rodgers. I mean, he didn't play well, but there's so many things involved in this game.
You're right, and we've had this argument today. There's a lot of reasons why the Jets suck. I completely agree with you.
Right.
But watching this guy every week, he makes a losing play every week.
He does. He has.
And if he doesn't make those losing plays, despite all the mistakes this team makes, they win games. You cannot throw a pick six to Leonard Williams. He misses wide open receivers all the time.
No, he does. He has. Hey, well, there was a couple. I'll tell you one. That was a bad one to Wilson. And that was, how about the 4th down play to Devontae, where Devontae had a layout for the ball. Now, I understand that it was a little long of a pass.
Yeah.
Devontae, you're an all-pro. Can you catch the ball?
Catch that one.
Right, Teak?
Yeah.
You're an all-pro receiver. Can he catch the damn ball?
Joe, we talked about this earlier in the show. Actually, we led the show with this. And so, to me, Evan is done with Aaron.
Right.
But to me,
I'm not.
What Aaron's issue is that he still thinks he can do these miraculous,
Right. I think you're right.
fading away,
Right.
deep balls or in cut, whatever it is, whatever throw he's trying to make, he thinks he can do it without thinking about it. And it's almost like he needs to just take the easy throw, right? Do the easy thing first and then worry about making the spectacular play. It feels like every throw, even the first third down to Devontae Adams, he's trying to throw it on the back shoulder.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know, just make it easier.
Yeah.
And because he can't do the spectacular as easy anymore.
Yeah. No, it's true. I know. But the Garrett Wilson miss was egregious. I mean, he was wide open. I thought he rushed the pass. I mean, I don't know if you heard what Leonard Williams said after the game.
Yeah.
He's afraid to get hit, and that's why he kind of rushed that pass.
And there may be some truth to that. He's 41 years old now.
Right.
He probably is.
But
today's his birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Aaron.
Yeah, great. Happy birthday.
He did look healthier yesterday than he did. Just
a little bit.
He moved a little bit better.
A little bit.
But here's the reality. Like, after they went up 21-7 in this game, okay, and then Lavica Shenault puts the ball on the ground, and you set up the score again because the Seattle Seahawks special teams is brutal.
Right.
You, at the very minimum, kick a field goal.
Yeah. Right.
And it's 24-7, and we'll see.
Right.
This offense scored 0 points after that possession.
Well, one thing I will say, and I'm not exonerating the offense, they didn't have the ball a lot in the second half. I mean, with all these dumb penalties that the defense kept having, they kept staying on the field. I didn't see what the time of possession was in the second half, but it didn't seem like the Jets had the ball too much in the second half.
They didn't, but they still got the ball 4 different times, and they couldn't score.
Right.
Including that final possession where, despite everything that happened, if you get in the end zone, you can win the game.
And how about this, too, on the final possession? This is so Jet-like. So they got like 3rd and 26 or whatever it was, and he hits the kid Davis. He goes for like 24 yards on the play.
Yes.
They hit the 4th down, and they still lose.
I know.
Right?
Of course.
You just can't make it up.
Yeah.
And and I know they're not going anywhere. They're 3-9. If they won, they would have been 4-8. But Teak, 60 years of these kind of losses.
Right.
It
gets frustrating.
It's beyond.
It was just about 12 minutes of time possession in the second half.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So it wasn't much.
It wasn't much. I mean, that's a big discrepancy.
Yeah.
18 to 12.
Yeah. Yeah, because they kept committing penalties. And how about this? We still got 5 games to go. I got to deal with 5 more.
So tell me why you're okay with Rodgers still in there. Because it was a conversation. Obviously, Olberg shot it down today, said Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback. But a lot of fans are just done.
Right. But you know what? Here's why I'm not, okay? Look, he's not going to be I doubt he's the quarterback next year. I mean, we're going to have a new quarterback next year. I'd go after Sam Darnold. I'd go after Justin Fields. I'd go after somebody like that. I really would.
Okay.
We got to have somewhat of a veteran presence at quarterback next year. And Tyrod Taylor's a backup. Of course, we got to see who the coach is. Oh, my God. But here's why, okay? Look, the guy came here. He wanted to be here. At least that's what it seems like. How many season tickets did this guy sell because he came to this franchise? Even you bought season tickets this year, Ev. Am I right about that?
Not because of him, but yes, I do understand.
Well, all right.
Yes.
Well, whatever, but that's fine.
A little bit? He didn't influence you a little bit?
Nah, it was just whatever.
But Teak, how many people bought season tickets?
A lot. So if it wasn't this year, Joe, it was last year.
So let him, if he's healthy, let him finish the year. We're not going anywhere anyway. Who gives a damn? Let him just finish the year out as the quarterback, and then next year we move on.
Well,
that's how I feel.
I agree with you about that. Like, I'm moving on from him, but I don't see any reason for benching him. Like,
not this year.
If there was a relatively
not if he's healthy. Not if he's healthy.
If there was a relatively young quarterback, like back in the day, we did this with Greg McElroy, where it's like, hey, let's see what the kid's got.
Right.
Giants are doing it with Tommy DeVito when he's healthy. Let's see what he's got.
Right.
Jordan Travis
the Giants are trying to lose. I mean, come on.
Well, at this point, they may.
Right.
Jordan Travis isn't ready. Like, he's just not healthy. So the only option is a 36-year-old backup, like you said. So I agree with you only because there's no reason to bench him. Like, what are you gaining out of benching Aaron Rodgers other than humiliating him, honestly?
Right. Nothing. So let him play. I mean, look, he took responsibility yesterday. I know he didn't take the full responsibility, which he shouldn't. I mean, there were other things besides just him, as we pointed out. But, look, he's not going to be here next year. We're not going anywhere. Let me see Aaron Rodgers finish the last 5 games as a Jet quarterback. I mean, that's how I feel. Why not?
We're talking the great Joe Benigno. So yesterday, obviously, there were some former Jets on the field, as we know. And I'm not just talking about Jason Myers kicking field goals.
Yeah, I know.
But obviously, Geno Smith, Leonard Williams.
Right.
Start with Geno, and we'll get to Leonard. Does it pissed off that Geno Smith is playing well, or are you kind of like, whatever, it doesn't matter?
No, not really. And I didn't think Geno had that great a game yesterday, to be honest with you. I mean, he was okay. They sacked him a bunch of times. No, it doesn't. And it doesn't bother me that Sam Darnold's playing well either.
How about Leonard Williams? Did the Leonard Williams thing piss you off?
Well, I mean, look, Leonard Williams, he had a big – look, I watched the game the week before because I had some shekels on the Arizona game, okay?
Right.
The Arizona – and Leonard had a great game there.
Yeah.
I mean, against Arizona 2 weeks ago, he was great. Look, we let Leonard go. He was never the player that he played. I never saw him play a game for the Jets or the Giants like he played yesterday, to be very honest. So,
no, you're right.
Right.
So is he motivated?
But he's a team away, so it kind of feels less.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less immediate.
Right. It's not. He really didn't bother me too much. I got to say.
I'm
not
with
at
you.
all.
Because I was defending that earlier because a Jet fan called in saying that made it worse. And I'm like, maybe it's because they are multiple teams away.
Right.
And maybe it's because, I don't know, it was a few administrations ago already.
Right.
Like, yeah, Leonard Williams was a disappointment. I remember you and I talking about it all the time. For a guy picked as high as he was, you want him to make an impact, not just have good PFF grades and have all the experts tell us he's doing the little things. When you're picked that high, I want more than the little things, like a pick six that changes a game.
Right. Well, he's having a big time year this year. At least the last 2 games. I mean, he played here. I don't see Mike Vrabel coming here. I just don't. I mean, but we need somebody with some experience that's got an idea. Not only got an idea about what it is to be a head coach in New York, but has a feel for the disaster this franchise is. You know what I mean?
Right. But, Joe, I think the bigger thing, what you're trying to say is you need someone who's not going to figure out what the culture is. Right? It's someone who's going to come in and define what the culture is.
Right. That's right.
He's going to make it.
I like that.
Make it him.
Yes.
Right? And if it's Flores,
100%.
this is why Brian Flores is that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love Flores.
Even though he didn't know what he was doing in Miami that first year, he brought a culture with him. And it was what it was. Now, maybe it was a little too harsh for the quarterback down there, Tua Tagovailoa, but you're not guessing what he wants from you. You know what I mean? So if you have a defined culture that you're bringing with you, it just makes it easier for everybody to get on the same page, as opposed to, let's just be nice and figure this thing out, and it'll show itself to us culture-wise. That doesn't ever work. Right? No. You got to come with an idea of what you want your culture, your personality, the team's personality to be, because if you don't, it can go anywhere. And once it starts going anywhere, it goes everywhere.
Yeah. No, the coach has to come in and immediately set the identity of the franchise.
Yes.
I don't think there's any question about that. And they can't miss. I mean, how much more can we take? I mean, we're the most beleaguered fan base in sports. I mean, you could tell me the Cleveland Browns, but they went to the playoffs last year. They're not having a bad year this year, but I mean, who's worse? I mean, we're the longest playoff-less streak in North America. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what makes it so bad. Like, if you think back to the 90s and the 2000s, we were still the Jets. We were still a franchise that won, but at least we would win every couple of years and get to the playoffs.
Made the playoffs. Herman Edwards, Mangini, Rex, yes.
The constant of losing. And look, I don't know if this is just emotional, and maybe you'll agree with me on this, but it feels like because this team is so freaking undisciplined, and it was Robert Saleh, and now it's Jeff Ulbrich, they commit so many mindless penalties.
Mindless.
That they really do need a taskmaster, that they do need an ass-kicking head coach that isn't going to befriend everybody and say, I love you, you're great. Like, they almost need that stereotypical badass head coach to maybe clean this mess up.
There's no question. Badass. And to me, Rex is a badass, and Flores is a badass, and that's the kind of guy they need to come in, stick his foot right up Sauce Gardner's rear end. Let's start with him. I mean, I guess he was okay yesterday. Maybe someday in his career he'll get an interception. Probably when he's playing for like the Steelers or something.
Right.
But,
now, this is unfortunately a discussion we've had to have a lot over the years because the Jets are always out of it at the end of the season.
Right.
What do you say to your fellow Jet fan who wants and is actively rooting against this team for the rest of the way, thinking about the draft position?
You know, what I'll say is how many times, look, everybody went crazy. Wow, we got to suck for Sam Darnold. Well, Sam Darnold wound up being there with the 3rd pick. How'd that work out? You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? I mean, you look at these quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen wasn't the 1st pick in the drafts. Lamar Jackson wasn't. Patrick Mahomes wasn't. Jalen Hurts was a 2nd-round draft choice. I mean, we could go on with this kind of thing, Just because you got the highest draft pick doesn't mean anything. Come on, how many brutal 1st-round picks have we had over the years?
Right. So much of it is coaching, Joe.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
it's
question.
why what you're talking about. So you're talking about the head coach, obviously, but it's also the coordinator.
Yes.
Right. Whatever the infrastructure is around the young quarterback, it has to be right. Because it's the quickest way to ruin a young quarterback is to have that wrong. We've seen it over and over and over again. Unfortunately, a lot of times with the Jets.
Yeah, no, it's really been rough. I never root against them. I want to win. Can I beat the Dolphins once?
Well,
can I stick it to them?
Yes.
I mean, I hate the Dolphins. Can I beat them one time and instead I got to lose to them twice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you look at the last 5 games of the year, Miami, Jacksonville, the Rams, Buffalo, Miami again. We'll see if that last game matters. How many games do you think they
matters to Miami?
Right, see if it matters to Miami. For us, we only know.
I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore, bro, because they've been so creative in how they've lost these games. I mean, outside of 3 games this year, maybe even only 2, outside of the 49er game and the Cardinal game, and I won't even say the Pittsburgh game because they had a lead in that game, and that game was a 1-point game until the ball bounced off Garrett Wilson's hands, and the guy takes it to the 1-yard line and turned the whole game around. Outside of those games, they've been in every game.
Yeah.
Every game was right there for them to win. So the brutality of the losses is just,
it adds up, man. It's crazy.
I was like 10. It was so bad yesterday. Of course, I get COVID, of course, but it was so bad yesterday that I had a hard time watching football after that last night. I really did. I watched a little of the Eagle game, Eagles-Ravens. I put on Buffalo for a few minutes. I knew that game was going to be a blowout. And the snow was nice, but they were killing. The Niners are in big trouble. Buffalo, of course, is one of the best teams in the league. So
yeah, but Josh Allen might be the MVP now.
it's either him or Saquon. I think. Right?
I agree with you. Especially if Saquon breaks the record, which he's on his pace to do.
I mean, he's got a legitimate chance to.
He's got a real shot to break the Eric Dickerson record, right?
Yeah, he's on
pace. What is it,
to.
21:05? Is that the number?
Yeah, and
he's on base for 21:30 something.
Yeah, his pace is actually ahead of it. It'll be interesting if the Eagles have everything wrapped up. Last game of the year, and it is an extra game. I don't know how that makes you feel about the record since he'll have the extra game over Dickerson.
Well, that's true.
But I wonder how hard they'll go for it. If Nick Sirianni will say, let's feed Saquon to break this record.
And don't forget that guy that played for Buffalo in 1973 was the first guy ever to go over 2,000 yards, and that was a 14-game season.
That's a good point.
No, you're right.
So let me, we all know the deal with that guy, but he's one of the great running backs of all time.
I know.
No question. There's no disputing that.
No question. All right, Joe, feel better, man.
By the way, before I let you go, just one thing. Because I know you're a big President's guy.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So I just got this book from Bill O'Reilly. I can't stand Bill O'Reilly because he's a pompous ass. But he is. But I just got this book written by him. It's called Confronting the Presidents. Have you got it yet?
I have not. I've read some of his other books about the presidents, which are very good.
You have. I'm telling you, I never read books anymore. I'm already into Thomas Jefferson. He goes, right through every president, right through
really all of them,
right through Biden, right through Joey Boy, right through Joey Boy.
All right,
check it out. You will love it. It's
I love that.
Confronting the presidents. You into that too, Teak?
I mean, I am. It's just interesting presidential history.
Check it out,
especially with Bill because of his nature.
Yeah. I don't like him, but he's a very good writer. He had all those killing books, Killing of Lincoln and all that. And I know you're into it, Teak, if you're into it too. Check it out. It's a good Christmas present. Confronting the President.
All right, I will check it out. I love that stuff. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Joe.
All right, guys, God bless. We'll talk to you next week.
The great Joe Benigno in his weekly spot after another brutal loss by the Jets. It's funny. Bill O'Reilly came in and was a guest on Boomer and Carton when Craig was doing mornings with Boomer.
I used to work with Bill.
Did you really?
Yeah, when I was at Fox News.
And was he a pompous ass like Joe described?
He was great. Great. Took me to a Knicks game.
Look at that. Did you leave early with Bill? Did you?
I did not.
Of course.
I did not.
Because Bill would have called you out.
But Spike Lee got mad at me.
For what?
Because I was there with Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, he got mad. He doesn't like O'Reilly. I'll tell you, I used to watch Bill's show all the time. Like I would DVR it. So when he was in here, I was like, should I say something? I was like, nah, I'm not going to say anything. But then I went to the bathroom, and Bill was in the bathroom. And I seem to have all these encounters while in the men's room, whether it's Howard Stern and maybe peeking with Bill O'Reilly. So I waited till Bill was washing his hands. And I said, Bill, I got to tell you, I watch you every night. He looked very disinterested. And then I'm like, crap, I got to say something else. That wasn't enough. And I'm like, me and my wife argue about you all the time. She hates you. I'm like, why did I just say that? And then he's like, well, I hope you win those arguments. And I'm like, I never do, Bill. I never do. And it was just very awkward. But maybe it was my own fault. Maybe I should have come with something better.
I think that was your own fault.
Now,